Hello, and happy Easter to everybody who's celebrates it. As you can see, I have a lovely sunburn. Uh, Yesterday was open practice and for the racetrack, and me and sunscreen don't get along, or me and the sun don't get along, and sunscreen refuses to help. So, get the first burn out of the way and call it a day. And that's why they make aloe. So, switching over to this view, uh, I have a bunch of cutout pieces of plastic canvas, and that is all for the bar that I've been, slowly working on the furniture for as I shift positions to get more comfortable. I have the bar top over here, I have the bar front, I have little support pillars. In theory, how this is going to work is that this will all be set up. So this will be rather large piece when it is finished. So this will be set up like this, with this piece then going over here. And then the bar top will actually be overhanging everything. I have these little connectors, so like this will come out like this. So there'll be that little lip. But that's all going to be one color. This is going to be a different color. So we're going to start. I made the decision I'm going to use this darker brown for the bar top, and this will be the bar front. This like reddish brown thing. I think that's what I had said anyways. Yes, bar front 919. So let us get started with this. Cut the threads. Since this whole setting is medieval fantasy of a sort, there's a lot of like wood grain, I guess would be the terms, because it's all like, oh yes, they're not gonna have vinyl. They might have like stone and like cobblestone and tile maybe, but not in the tavern that exists everywhere. Because this is definitely a whole. The tavern itself, the Brandy Bush, is one of those. It's sort of exists outside of time because fey magics, and it's one of those you just kind of go, yeah, whatever you say, and you don't ask questions. Trying to figure out how I start this. We're gonna start up in this corner. Start here. I think this is what I want to do. Let's make sure that we pull these even, roughly. We're gonna do. I couldn't tell you what the name of most of these stitches are, but similar to the table that you can kind of see just off camera, doing the wood grain where I'm going to do across, I think, 4 squares until I need to do unless I need like, oh, I'm gonna need to have it be 5 to fill in that extra gap or whatever. Right. That was wrong. That was all sorts of wrong. So now we very carefully undo these stitches. Because I went in and out of the same hole as opposed to changing. This should come out here. There we go. That's looking how it's supposed to look. Because also by doing it in the way that I'm stitching, I'm not covering the whole thing in the thread, so ideally it'll use up less, which is good because I only have 2 skeins and 2 skeins of these colors, which means I'll have to get more before I can fully finish this bar. I'm hoping to at least get, maybe 2 panels done. We're very carefully maneuvering the tails to be caught by the stitches to make sure that, again, we don't have to tie any extra knots. It just kind of keeps the finished piece looking a little cleaner. And I mean, again, this is going to be, you're going to see this side. You're not going to see the other side. At least I can't think of any reason at the moment that you should be seeing the back of the bar. Or if it is, you're seeing like the back but from like a downward angle, so you shouldn't see under the bar. You'll see like over the shoulder, looking out into the tavern. But it's fine. I'm sure I can create enough little like crates or something to hide any messy looking stitch work. No, that is the opposite of what I wanted to do. So until I have a chance to go back to the craft store to replenish my stock of these two colors for this bar. I should have a decent amount that I can make more of the chairs and the bar stools. Since I have all of that stuff like cut out already, it'll just be a matter of stitching things together. So we have one stripe of wood paneling. I'll finish in this corner first before I jump to the other uh, direction going back that way. Did that go in the right? Is that where I wanted that to go? That is not where I wanted that to go. I don't have the fancy graph paper chart drawn out for this yet because I really didn't feel like drawing all of those slashes. So this whole bar will probably be the first one that I like create the pattern for in Excel. Okay. Just make sure that this untwists a little bit. And I'm like 99% sure the craft store is closed today. Otherwise, I would go run over to make sure I had enough. But I have, again, I have a surplus of colors for the other bits of furniture. And I can then also plan out, like, oh, I know I'm going to need to make, like, for the rooms, I'm going to need to make the beds. I'm going to need to make, I don't know, maybe a dresser. I haven't really thought about what all exists in these rooms. But the nice thing about this stitch is it does fill in large areas quicker. And it does create this nice, like, it looks like wood paneling. At least it does in my head, and my head's a scary place, so we'll just let that go for now. No. What am I doing? I swear, it's like the sun yesterday fried whatever brain cells I had. My brain decided to take an extended vacation. Okay, let's not be tangled up, thanks. I'm supposed to go diagonal there. And I'm going to wait to like completely finish off the edges of this until I decide if I'm going to like, no, what the crap am I doing? Until I decide if I'm going to like actually attach this directly to the floor, if I'm gonna reuse the floor and then just basically have the Barbie freestanding but not actually like anchored down. Because if I'm gonna just have everything freestanded and then maybe just like tacked into place with like a stitch here and there, then I will like finish off the edges completely. But if it's going to all be fixed into place, then I will do that while I am assembling it all together. If that bit of rambling makes any sense. Right, 1, 2, 3. And also sort of paying attention to which way I start this gets me these nice straight lines that are filled in. Um, it just helps create that illusion of wood paneling. Let me adjust my light this way. I can see what I'm doing. Move the camera back a little too. Because I'm sitting back in my chair as I'm working on this and trying to make sure I capture this. I wonder if in the bedrooms it should be like, not quite a twin bed. Maybe like a twin bed, a closet with a couple of drawers underneath it, or maybe just one tall closet, and then like a small, I think like a standing closet with the two doors, and then like a chest of drawers. I think that would be good. And now, obviously, or no, I shouldn't say obviously, because again, I don't expect anybody to be privy to what is in my head, because it is a scary, scary place. With the reason that I'm focusing on the furniture and things before I worry about actually making the rooms is because I don't have any scale planned for like where I can be like now that I have an idea of I'm building the library of furniture for these size dolls. I can start to math out and at least guess how long or like how large things will have to be when I have um like, okay, here's the bar stool. The bar stool will be sitting in front of the bar, and yeah, the bar stool will tuck in here, but it's gonna be backed out so people can sit. And I know, okay, I can fit 1, 2, 3. Again, it might be less than that, it might be more than that. I haven't decided how tightly packed I'm making the seating or if it's going to be spread out. And if I make everything freestanding, I can add and remove walls as needed to capture certain camera angles. Basically, I'm trying to build an entire world that is also like like build a world, but build a set miniaturized from scratch, so I can film a story that I concocted based off of a role playing, just based off of role playing in general, because the characters are, for the most part, they're inspired by a LARP I participated in, and I haven't been since I moved away from college. I haven't been able to, because I moved out to Long Island, moved back to Long Island technically, and it's a headache and a half to try and make any of the LARPs that are up in New England. So it's just kind of easier. It sucks and I miss it, but I don't have the resources necessarily to be able to make it to the events nearly as often as I did when I was going to school in the area. Okay, so I'm gonna hide this end. By just going back and forth through these lovely loops that were created. So I was able to get 4 bits of 4 planks out of that, which wasn't too bad. Time to cut another, and that didn't really take all that long. Let's not be tied up in a knot, please. Cut this one a little longer. Again, we'll attempt to get the needle threaded. However good that's gonna go. There we go. Find the ends. Not pull the thread apart. Hello. Happy Easter if you celebrate. Thanks for coming by. How's it going? I am currently working on the bar for the tavern that I am creating as a set for some of these little crocheted dolls that I've been making. So this is going to be her bar. So it's I'm a newbie when it comes to this plastic canvas, but I'm making it work. So I started up there. So I just start there. Thank you. It's some of the furniture I've been able to create is coming out pretty cool. So hopefully I can get what's in my head out into the real world and it actually looks okay. But it's all trial and error. As most crafting is, it's try something, if it doesn't work, scrap it and try again and figure out what went wrong. Oh, absolutely. I've been crocheting for I've been crocheting for like 20 years and I'm still learning new techniques and I still screw up things. And your English is better than some of the native English speakers I work with. So there is no issues here. You are completely fine. It's like, so I work with a bunch of Spanish speaking people for my real job. And I know enough Spanish to get me into trouble or out of trouble. And they all try and like help me, but I'm well aware that half the time I speak with like broken Spanish. And I'm like, I'm just gonna make up words and play charades, and hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. But it is what it is. We all learn as we go. Besides, anybody who wants to attempt to learn English as a second language has, like, gets mad respect because English is such a stupid language. They're that's definitely, really cool to visit, you know, the little the small little streams. And it's one of those, I only started streaming maybe a month ago. And my like thinking behind it is I'd be working on these crafts anyways. So what difference does it make if I turn on a camera and, you know, put myself out on the internet so people can come hang out if they want and ask questions if they see something that's cool. And yeah, what are you looking to stream? Like crafts, games, photography, music, anything in particular? Oh, that is fascinating. I love all of like the wood crafts. Case in point, I'm doing wood grain for a lot of these sort of projects, and I don't have the skill or desire to want to use any sort of woodworking tools, but I love those sort of designs. And epoxy is another whole, you know, you have to get real good at knowing what you need to mix and what like if you add the colors to it. So that is really cool. So I'm going to. Oh yeah, you change. You got to change the what you call it proportions and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow you. So if you do ever get started streaming, I can tune in and see what sort of creative stuff you make. And so I went ahead and left you a follow. This way, you can start building up your audience before you even get streaming. How did I miss a hold here? What happened? I screwed up somewhere. Now we have the fun part of undoing things. I went into a double stitch somewhere. Yeah, and listen, it's what I've sort of figured out is I've been, doing this little by little, and I'm not expecting to suddenly get, 50,000 followers. I don't make that sort of content that can go viral like that. Um my first like handful of followers were people that I knew like IRL, because I was posting over on like my Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm live. Come hang out. Let me not be lonely." And then apparently I didn't realize one of them was a streamer also, and so he did his stream, and then afterwards all of a sudden I get surprised by like 20 people dropping in a raid, and I'm like, "Oh, wow. This is a lot of people." So there's nothing going like, smaller, like one by one. I remember I was literally like shaking from the adrenaline that was just like, oh my God, all of a sudden, all of these people are talking to me. Stop trying to tie yourself in knots. Okay. No. So now you need to go back. What even happened? You're in the wrong hole. What do you think is the problem? Listen, there is zero problem with streaming in other languages, and I have zero problem just listening to people speaking in their native languages, because English is dumb and other languages sound so much better. So maybe I'll come hang out. I'll be like, I don't understand a word of what's going on, but I'm here for the vibes. Because I know, I think one of the other people I follow will occasionally start rambling in Swedish. I'm like, yeah, don't know what you're saying, but I'm here for the good times. And especially if you're doing a crafting stream, I can just watch what your uh like watch what's going on. So I'm going to copy that, and I will follow that stream later. And yeah, there's I enjoy just kind of chilling and hanging out. I might not understand a word of what's going on, but nothing wrong with that. So I have your other username saved in another window, and I will follow that channel afterwards. Yeah, no problem. Even if it's just hi. It's crafting is about showing off the art that you're making. It's the same way music is the universal language. It's we don't have to, understand and speak the same language, but music connects everyone together and showing off the crafts, because like I can show this and you work with wood. Does this look like a wood front that you would see on a bar? So like y- y- I know I speak very quickly, and that is a problem, especially with the amount of like caffeine I drink. Um, but you can be like, hold on, pick that color or that color. There are definitely, you can appreciate the art without necessarily fully being able to understand the presentation. Okay, I have, in theory, sorted out the mess. Let's untwist this. I know a lot of times for me when I'm watching other streamers, it's half the time it's less about what they're actually saying and more about, hey, it's another like human connection type thing. uh it helps with not feeling isolated and alone, because I don't have a whole lot of like real world friends that I hang out with on a regular basis. So it's just like, ah, yes, there are people I can in theory like interact with them, and it's I'm not alone. When which that's really cool because I'm a musician also. I play in a classical orchestra. So when you talk about like yeah, no, streaming for that 2 hours is usually like what I go. Um my current main instrument is bassoon, but I have at least played and performed a concert on clarinet, bass clarinet, contrabass clarinet, contralto clarinet, alto sax, bari sax, tenor sax. Um, I think I technically played a concert on oboe, but no, bassoon is my main instrument at the moment. So I am queen of the lower woodwinds. I can kind of get notes out on brass instruments. Uh, I cannot for the life of me play string instruments. Because I like having keys and buttons. Yeah, no, see, I fully respect drummers who, you know,
You're doing just as much. I might have 13 keys I need to play with my thumbs, but if you sit at a drum set and you have all of those different, you know, the I don't know, accessories, but mad props to any sort of drummers because y'all have to keep in time and be very on the beat. So yeah, music streams do like really nice. And again, music you don't have to worry about, you know, whatever language you want to speak because that's just oh yeah, come hang out and feel the vibes. And you can even be like, ah yes, on you know, one day I'll stream the wood and epoxy and then Saturdays will be, you know, drumming. You know, you can mix it up. There's nothing saying you only have to stream one uh one thing. Because like I have my Switch connected to my computer, so if I wanted to, I could stream gaming. But I'm like halfway through all of my games, and I'm like I'm not good at video games, even though that's what I went to school for. So I went to school to design video games, not play them, even though that was a homework assignment. So what I do as a normal job is program and operate a sheet metal laser cutter. So one of those $1 million, you know, heavy machinery. I work in a factory where I technically use it to make like ventilation, but I also use it to create keychains. So this is stainless steel, and it cuts it out like it has the laser that'll trace out the shape. So I program and operate the machine that makes things like this. Um, but I also can't stand not being busy. So, oh yeah, no, this thing I'm using like the full 5 foot by 10 foot uh, sheets of steel, where it'll pick it up via suction cup and move things like automated. It's a little ridiculous, and it doesn't help that half of the errors are in German. I don't speak German, but I'm the only one at my company who can operate this machine, who can program it, and I operate it the best. So, job security. And when they annoy me, I make things. I make my own things. Like, let's see. Little teeny tiny charms. Trying to show it off in the light. Got music charms that are backwards. There we go. But then I also make, so we make our own machines for like spot welding for like ventilation. It's the HVAC is what the abbreviation is, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Um, so I'll make the enclosures for machines. So anytime you see like, you know, I would make the flat pattern pieces for all of this, and then it goes to a different department to be bent up if it needs to be or welded together. even though I got hired at the company to do the IT computer stuff. But I keep myself busy because I have the Twitch streaming that I'm doing for my crafts. I have, my real job. I play with an orchestra that rehearses every week. I bought my dad a race car, so now that started up, so we do that on Saturdays. And I'm running a YouTube channel for the race team, and I work at the racetrack. So if I'm not doing 15 things at the same time, I'm anxious. I'm like, I could be doing more. I'm not very good at taking a break or like vacationing. Keeping busy keeps me happy, or at the very least, it distracts me from trying to figure out how to, eliminate problems. Which is why I've trained everybody at my job to leave me alone unless they bring me a bribe of coffee, because I will throw things. Okay. Caffeine. No, go for it. Thank you for stopping by, and absolutely thank you for hanging out. I will definitely follow your other channel, and I look forward to seeing whatever you end up streaming. It was great to chat with you too. Have a great Easter. Hey, how's it going, Mike? Do you prefer Mike or Paul or MP? Maybe I'll just call you MP3. How is it going? We'll just trade one chatter for another. Bye, Muse. Congrats on making the team MP3. I saw that in the Discord. It's okay. I don't think anybody can out creep me. I am very good at getting people to stop and think and be like, wait, what? So, to catch you up on what I'm currently working on, I am working on the front paneling for a bar for my little crocheted dolls that I've been working on. I am a newbie when it comes to plastic canvas, but I have bar stools. I have, if I can get this over here without dropping anything, the chairs and a table, little notebook and a pencil to, because he's the scholar. And I'm just, working on building up my whole set so I can eventually do the, like, not quite stop motion animation because I ain't doing every single frame like that, but definitely do like almost like a slideshow of the fantasy world that I have built in my head. So the story is called Our Dark Pasts Draw Us Together. And it is medieval fantasy based off of a LARP that I used to participate in. I get anxious if I'm not doing 15 things at the same time. So, on top of designing all of the characters, and so this is, if I can get her off the chair, this is the Kazul that is in the world. She is dragon trapped as a human form. She has her little teeny tiny dagger that I cut on my laser cutter at work. But, has all of the laces, all of this. This is all crocheted using like the friendship bracelet thread. Uh, and yeah, so this is one of the main characters. This is the other main character, Vero. And again, these are all, they have like pipe cleaners in them, so they're all completely posable. He has his broken sword that is broken for plot reasons. And then I'll have to eventually work on the music and stuff for the world. I am very creative and I get bored very quickly. We'll go with that one. But I went to college for video game design, and I refused to do like basic art stuff where I'd be making blades of grass for whatever AAA game is coming out. So this is how I decided to express my creativity. I've been doing the crocheting for 20 plus years at this point. Taught myself when I was 11 out of a book, and I've been going ever since. So I do make more traditional, like, yarn based crafts. Like, I have, what do I have sitting next to me? I have hats. So I have, this is the, it doesn't fit over my horns at the moment, but I'll hang it off of one of my horns. So, newsboy cap. I have lanyards that are crocheted. Yeah, eventually I'll make accessories for my headset with the horns. And then I have, if I can unlock things. Got teeny tiny Pokeballs, keychains, got chicken keychains, coffee cups because caffeine is lifeblood. And then I have all of the stainless steel sheet metal keychains that I make while I'm supposed to be doing real work at my real job. But who does real work? What are you caught on? So these are all the music themed keychains. So we got, alto, tenor clef, bass clef, generic eighth notes. Got teddy bear, pistons because I bought my dad a race car. Triple moon, mix it up a little bit. So the keychains probably started like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years ago. And I sell like all of these metal keychains through my Etsy shop, along with the like friendship bracelets. And there's a reason why I'm called Kazul Studios, because I do a little bit of everything. Um, but like even since I was 11, I've been crocheting, and I'm gonna be 33 this year. God. But I'm still technically 32. So I've always had the need to make things. Whether it be those like little kid kits that they get you at like the No, what's impressive is I can still tell you which 3 crochet hooks I got and which 3 balls of yarn were what I got with the book to teach me. And it was the Susan Boyle like set of 3 aluminum crochet hooks. That was a 3.5 millimeter, a 4 millimeter, and a 5 millimeter hook. And then it was Karen Simply Soft, Country Rose, Light Cottage Blue, and like Sage. That were the 3 skeins of yarn that I was handed from my aunt for my birthday when I turned 11. That's what's scary, is that I can still remember that sort of stuff from, 20 plus years ago. So I tend to have an attitude of, oh, that's cool, but I can probably make it. Yeah, crochet, because I'm pretty sure crochet is a French word, and they like to throw in extra like vowels and Q's and X's. But it's, yeah, I do knitting, I do crocheting, I've done the rug hook, I do the macrame friendship bracelets. I'm trying to think. I made the giant bedspread for my bed, so it's a giant like velvet crocheted blanket. Obviously, I've been doing this plastic canvas, but I'm like, I like making things, and that's what I like about the no, you forgot croissant. You can't forget to include croissant in that. But yeah, I can identify. Yeah, croissant. Yeah, you got to get rid of the T at the end because it's croissant. If you actually pronounce it properly. But exactly, there you go. That is the phonetic, the spelled out attempt at an English speaker attempting to pronounce uh, French. That is the language. Too much sun yesterday fried the remaining brain cells I have. Because it was the first practice day out at the racetrack, and I decided to pretend I didn't need sunscreen. Which is a lie, because yeah, I'm hoping that this comes out like I envision in my head. Cause I enjoy doing like basic voice acting, and that's what's gonna happen is I'm gonna do all the voices for all of these characters. So I'm hoping it's just gonna be of a whole lot of little things. Yeah, but what's funny is I'm Italian and German, but I look like I'm Irish. But I'm starting with the permanent freckle line here. This white, that is unburnt skin. Because it was like, I mean, I can make potatoes, but I did my time in food service, and I'd rather not cook if I don't have to. So, instant mashed potatoes for the win. Nah, but we do pasta. I can make some pretty interesting pasta, and it's like I can cook, but I choose not to because I live with my parents, and my mom's the Italian one, and she gets sad if I don't let her cook. So we're just gonna go, sure, mom, whatever. But at least I don't have to pay rent. So I own a Legends car, which is paved oval, is what we race. Um, we just started. This is, I think, going to be our 5th full season, and we race at the local track. It's about a 45-minute drive from where we live. But here, let me see if I can pull up a picture. And I actually have a YouTube channel that I film my dad racing, and we keep busy. That's what I do on Saturdays. Plus, I work at the racetrack on Saturdays. I do all of the replay in the booth. This is what happened at the end of last year. Probably. But let's see if I have a better picture. Oh yeah, no. So here, we're gonna attempt to watch this. The red and black car on the outside. That was my dad. That was the final race of last year, like the special event race. Here it is in slow motion. He decided to try and play Space Cadet. He had no idea that he left the grounds like that. So he was okay. That car was trash. But because I work in the replay booth, I was able to pull that up after all of the racing was done. But yeah, this was some of the damage from that wreck. Like the tin in the back, that was level. That was flat. But now that's whole, like, popped up. However, the current car, let's get to. So this was at practice yesterday. So we have a coupe. Oh yeah, he was a little bruised up and sore. I mean, the man is 60 years old. Um, but he by the time the race is finished and I got back, he drove the car, that wrecked one, back onto the trailer and was already had a beer in his hand by the time that I managed to make it. Yes. So, 92 because I was born in 92. So, that is why our number is number 92, and he's just driving around the pits getting laps in the car. But Riverhead Raceway is our home track. So that is where we keep going. And if you look up Stats Auto Garage on YouTube, that's where we put all of our shenanigans at the racetrack. I will post a link to that if you want, if you're interested in checking out our vlogs, where I basically just point a camera in his face and go, hey, why'd you do that? Let's, like, where did my mouse go? If I can type. No. Apparently I don't know how to type. What is... Okay, fair enough. What we're probably going to end up doing with that wrecked car is turn it into a sim rig. But I don't have the time or energy to do that right now. So we're going to post that. That is the racing channel where I put up the updates, and Wednesdays is when I post the videos for the for all of the YouTube stuff. This way, Sunday gives me a chance to take all the videos off my phone, and then I usually end up editing them like Monday night, Tuesday night, sometimes Sunday nights. Appreciate the sub. But that is me and my dad having a great time, hanging out on the track. And this year we got a new guy setting up our... It's actually one of the guys we bought our original car from. He's doing the setups for us now, which means I can talk racing all the time. A lot of times what I'll do during my Friday streams, I'll have the Xfinity race go, or the truck race going on my TV while I'm streaming. But flow racing is a beautiful thing. And I'm not a gamer. I will play the Pokemon games. Yeah, we are now best friends. And I have attempted to do quote unquote traditional art. I can draw architectural drawings. I can draw my plans for the bar. But when it comes to trying to draw like organically or organic things, like no thank you, curves are annoying. I will do my art with, a hook and some string. What type of art do you focus on? So yeah, first, what type of art do you focus on? And second, what's your go-to racing series? Nah, 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 nah. Give it to me. I want the real answers. Go ahead. Go ahead. Woohoo! Caffeine break. So, back to the loaded questions. We'll go with the easy one first. What kind of art do you focus on Twitch? Mike's art. Yes, I gathered that you focus on your own art, but is it digital graphic design? Is it traditional, like, painting? Okay, fair enough. I will make sure. Let me follow this account so I have that saved. So yeah, that's followed now. And what's your go-to racing series? We'll start with televised. Jesus Christ. That is gigantic. I don't have room for that sort of thing. That's why I'm working with, 1 millimeter hooks and you know, teeny tiny thread. I'm sure if I had like an actual like designated studio, I'd be able to work on some ridiculous, pieces, but I like the satisfaction of, oh, yes, okay, an hour and I have this much progress. And it's okay, this is one whole wall of a bar. I will definitely have to check out your stream because I have mad respect for anybody who can do the traditional stuff. Okay. 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 I like watching. So, as much as I like watching NASCAR, I'll catch IMSA once in a while. I'll usually only watch the big ones. I'll watch the 12 hours of Sebring, 24 hours of Daytona. I'll throw on Le Mans when that's on. I like watching a lot of the short tracks. So I'll have Flow Racing going where I'll watch, Florence Motor Speedway, Hickory. Occasionally I'll tune into Bowman Gray, but Bowman Gray is a disgrace to racing. They call it the madhouse for a reason. But, since I'm involved with the short track world, I very much like watching, especially if the Legends cars are racing. And that's one of the things I like about watching at Florence. There's no back wall. uh, okay, so if you like doing the iRacing, have you, and if you have, which tracks been to live like NASCAR events? Oh yeah, that's Florence Motor Speedway because you get to watch people just drive off the back of the track and it's like bye. Okay, I have been to New Hampshire so Loudon, New Hampshire Motor Speedway to watch. It was like when there was all of a sudden that like 100-degree day. So we stayed for the weekend. That was the Xfinity, the Wheel and Modified tour, and the Cup race. I've seen. Technically, I was physically present at Pocono, but I was young and I fell asleep halfway through that race. I want to go to Coda. That looks so cool. I want to go up. I'm going to call it the dinosaur, but that observation deck, it looks like a brontosaurus or something chilling in the middle of the track. And I've been to Martinsville. That was a fantastic race. Pocono is It's kind of a boring race. It's the problem with seeing it in person is that because it is such a big track, everything that happens not on the front stretch, it is so far away. Okay, okay. I love the prototype style cars. Those, if you want to talk about a sexy looking car, those prototypes, any of the prototypes, but those are some sexy looking cars. But the like Wheel and Modified tour modifieds are a close second. But again, I also like the look of, look at late model cars at like the Cars tour. There's something about those nice clean late models that are just phenomenal. Yes. Mm-hmm. Even like the old school like Monte Carlos. There's one of the divisions that races at Riverhead. It's street stock, blunderbuss. I always mix up those two, but it's basically an old school Monte Carlo, and it's just that. Yeah, I just like, as long as the car is like clean, you get those nice crisp lines. That's what I hate about most street cars today. Everything is like, where are the angles? I don't want a bubble, thanks. My dad's an auto mechanic, so I, grew up hanging out in his shop every Saturday, and now as much as I don't actually work on the car, I am involved and I ask the questions. So I am, I like to call it, I am the font of useless information. Ah, good bot, Sari. Good bot. We're gonna we're gonna tell Sari bot that they're a good bot because they blocked spam. I currently drive an 05 RAV4. Before that, it was a 99 Camry, and then a 92 Camry. Toyota's my go-to. The current model year, the Forerunners, I love the how mean they look. They have that just like angry looking nose. Yeah, we have, like, I've never owned a new car, but I'm hoping that like next year I can lease something, because my little Forerunner with 230,000 miles on it is starting to feel like an actual 20-year-old car. When the rear suspension and like, I just had it in for an oil change, and my dad's like, yeah, your rear shock's blown out. I'm like, oh, well, that explains why I feel the bumps again, or feel them now. And let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever messed around with like replacing brake pads on these cars, but it is held in with a teeny tiny like spring and then a little plastic sheet metal cover type thing. I'm like, I don't like the fact that my brake pad is held on by what looks like a spring that came out of a pen. Like, excuse me? No. But listen, it's what's funny is when my dad will have me come up to the shop to help with replacing a part on a car, when he has coworkers, but his coworkers are morons. So I'm the one he asks to come up to replace the sunroof on a Nissan. Let me tell you, that is a motherfucker. Trying to get those clips in. Yeah, but listen, Toyota's that's like half the lifespan. We had a Chevy Tahoe that was, what year was the Tahoe? An 08, I think. 300,000 miles on it. We drove that thing down to Martinsville, Virginia, and it's, if half the parts were like not like about to go bad and it was going to cost more to keep replacing the parts, that car would still be on the road. is going on here? And that's why. So like my car when I got it, my RAV4 had 180,000 miles on it, but since Dad wasn't the primary mechanic, we didn't really know the maintenance record. Jesus Christ. Yeah. No, no, no. Toyotas, they last forever. I had my I think it was my Camry. I was trying to drive up to New Hampshire and I made it to Connecticut. My radiator cracked. So call up Dad, cracked my radiator. He's like, okay, give me a couple hours. So pulled off of the highway. Yeah, but my dad was able to change the entire radiator in my 99 Toyota Camry on the side of the road by removing 4 bolts. So Toyotas are definitely my go-to like reliable car. Listen, I was trying to go to a LARP event and I was not happy. I was dressed, I had full makeup on and I was wearing an outfit similar to what she's wearing, minus the corset, because I refuse to drive in a corset. That is the worst. Nah, I just went, hey, Dad, go, call up quick. Not quite, but it was just, it was a feast, but it's the medieval LARP that my chaotic stop motion world is based off of. Uh, so, and I haven't really been able to go up to any of the events since I moved back to Long Island as I choke on air. But I have finally gone to a Renaissance fair and that was fun. Could have done it. I would have had a better time with different people, but I enjoyed being able to experience it at least. Next time I go to a Ren fair, I think I'm going to go oh, hello. Thank you for the raid. It's yeah, I did I used to do the LARPing, but it was the same sort of vibe. Dig photo. You're gonna be dig. Hello, thank you for the raid. I am just hanging out, working on some prop building for my the world of my little crocheted dolls. Nah, but the question is, do you dig it? How are y'all doing? Happy Easter if you celebrate it. Just hanging out, vibing to some music, ranting about racing and Ren fairs. Nah, nah, nah. You're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do. Besides, I'm already sitting in the corner.
and I thrive on the chaos. So I'm almost done with one of the panels for the front of what will end up being the bar. This massive. This is just one corner of the bar. This will be fairly large when I am finished with this. So how are all y'all doing on this lovely Sunday morning? Well, corners are usually 90 degrees, so it's always going to be nice and toasty. Because apparently base is against puns. I mean, unless you use Celsius, like, sane people, then corners being 90 degrees is most certainly a problem. That ruins the whole, we don't want to be absolutely okay. Even 90 degrees is going to be, pretty frigid. Semantics, but I'm Samantha. So I love being able to pull that one out because I despise the name, my full name being Samantha. I'm like, I'm Sam or Kazul. That's it. Samantha is much too ladylike. And though I may be female, I am not a lady. I ain't got time for that. But I want to at least see if I can finish up this panel because I only have one more. I only got one more skein here of this color, and I need to go raid a craft store. And since it's a holiday, I'm 90% sure they're all closed. So I'll have to wait till tomorrow after work.
I'm gonna need like 15,000 of this color. But that looks like wood paneling, yeah? Like I'm not completely crazy. That looks like that old school, like vertical wood bars. Because that would be the effect I'm going for. No, awesome. I'm probably not going to go for too much longer because I got to get ready soon-ish to go deal with the extended family for the holiday. But how many pens is your drawing going to go through? What, 12 square feet? It's got to be like 3 pens each. No, absolutely. Look forward to hanging out again, MP3. I'll check it out when I'm done. So the general plan is once I make sure I have enough of this thread going on, is do the front bar panels and attach them all together. Then attach this railing to sort of create that lip that you normally see at the front of the bars. So this will be, everything else will be in this darker brown. So there's a distinct, put the lighter on the bottom and the darker on the top because, you know, logically you want a darker colored bar top to hide whatever mysterious stains would appear in a medieval world. And this thing is going to end up being fairly large. And then I'll have to build the floor and walls of the tavern to encompass the bar, all of the little bar stools, the tables, and whatever sort of seating diagram I end up coming with. But that is for at least a little bit into the future. Gotta make the furniture first and then build the room to house it.
Definitely am covering more area than I was expecting to with just a single skein, which is nice. So it means I won't need like an exorbitant amount. Exorbitant, not absorbent. Quantities cannot be absorbent. But we will definitely need to purchase more. I'll do one more before I tie it off. No, that was wrong. My brain is fried from being in the sun all day yesterday. Weave these back and forth to not have to tie knots. Trim that. Make sure we have enough thread that we can finish part one and then attach the next section and hopefully start on that wall. Because this is like it's not an L shape, it's like two L shapes stacked together, but not like a Z or an M. There's a very large bar. Because in universe, while other taverns probably do exist, this one is the one that exists everywhere because it exists slightly out of time. Because Fae nonsense. I noticed a lot of notifications related to the team application stuff. I'm like, yeah, that seems like I need to read through a bunch of things. Are you trying to like streamline the process or just changing it up because you want different qualifications at this point? Fair enough. Make it one self-contained thing as opposed to having to go like just keep it all, in-house, if you will. But at the same time, having something that requires a little bit of effort being put in does weed out people who like just want, you know, an easy like fix to things. Because obviously I know I've not been part of this community for very long. But I definitely want to say now, if I haven't said it, I very much appreciate the fact that you have created this type of a community to allow smaller creators and whatever various artisans find you or you find them. It is incredible what you've put together, and the goal of supporting people and allowing us to sort of congregate together, because I know I'm terrible at reaching out to people in general. I probably won't be very active actually in like the chat. I'll obviously answer questions if there are, but I'm someone who very much likes to lurk in the background. And that's what it is. I appreciate, because we're all like-minded, at least to some degree. So having a home, it makes me feel validated in pursuing what I want to be able to pursue, and really, really thankful for people like you who are willing to look out for the little guys like us, like me. But I just figured, let me state that now for the record, if I haven't said it and if I forget to say it in the future. Like, what you have done deserves all of the recognition for giving us a home and giving us the means to be able to support and find more like-minded people to continue to grow and support each other. You did good work. You deserve the recognition for it. Especially when I at least have a vague idea of what it takes to maintain, any sort of like, community in the background. I might not be able to do the like programming levels. I can't create bots, but I do understand the dedication that you yourself need to put in to maintain all of this. And if as a community we have like a place to recognize people who've done a significant amount for our community as a whole, you should be the first person recognized. You gave us the home and created the community for us to be. And that is a noble goal, but just remember to take it in bits and pieces and don't try and find a one size fits all. If you need to make a couple of smaller things to accomplish the same goal, you know, don't bite off more than you can chew, and make sure that you're giving yourself time to, like, take a break and not completely be like, oh yes, this is my entire world. So we all appreciate what you're doing. I hope I speak for everybody in this community that we all appreciate everything that you do, but do remember to take care of yourself in the same time, and don't get completely lost in, you know, don't focus entirely on taking care of us without losing sight of taking care of yourself first. And hey, at least if we keep breaking things, anything they can do, you can do better. And down the line, eventually, again, you create original bots. That could be a marketable skill. Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. Um, because it is where it's like, yes, this is my hub. No, no, MP3, no, because it wouldn't be push-ups. It would be like, relay race. Yes, she absolutely will. I can 100% see that. But yeah, it definitely is the fact that our community acts as like a hub for the streamers who, like, personally, I don't think I'll ever create a personal Discord, at least anytime soon. Been there, done that. It turned toxic real quick because of drama that spilled off from a like secondary group, and it was one of those. I like this because I can create with
connect with other creators and not necessarily have to worry about moderating both the chat that exists on Twitch and then the public, I guess I'll call it. Like, if I did create a Discord, it'd be like, ah, yes, here is where I will drop free patterns. But at the same time, I could do that on like Patreon or something, or Ko-fi, or whatever other website. No, absolutely. And again, someone like me, I'm just hanging out. I don't need to have a Discord because I'm not sitting here. If I was playing games and like, oh yeah, give me here, list all your game recommendations in one. I don't, you know, what I would use a Discord for, I can just as easily use other sites. And that's why I don't think I'll ever have a Discord. I might be like, oh, yeah, can I, create a channel in this community post for, patterns that I want to post and share? Like, obviously, I have my Discord that, I use to talk to like maybe 3 people. And then obviously now this community. But trying to make a server that actually attracts people, that is just as much of a headache as maintaining any other social media profile. But like, yeah. And it's one thing, it's like, if a streamer streams often enough, you almost don't need a Discord because everybody who's in the community is going to be hanging out at the streams. And I'd rather people come hang out in the streams and talk live than hang out in the Discord where, not everybody is, where you're not paying attention to the live content because you're hanging out with the fellow fans in the Discord. If that made any amount of sense. Oh yeah. And like, I haven't put a set schedule on Twitch. Yeah, go for it. What are we having today? Zero or no name. I think we're gonna have a no name peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I think that's what Base is gonna have lunch. Oh, it's 1:30. What happened to the time? Time flies when you're hanging out with good people. Yeah, and it's one of those like I'm just hanging out, and I already do 15,000 things. It'd be different if I had like, oh, I'm designing a game and I have a Discord that is really only being used for the actual game development and testing, where it's, yes, please join this server, and then here, you're testing this level, you exist in this room, and make all your comments there. I don't, I'm not doing that yet. And any sort of tutorials can go like on whatever other video platform, and I can sell whatever patterns through Etsy. If I want to release a free pattern, make a YouTube video of making it. So, like, having my own Discord server is just not something I need to do. Plus, the web community allows us, like, if a group of people who were doing similarly themed arts, like MP3 draws, I do, grandma crafts, for lack of a better term. But pick a holiday and we could do that, like, stream together, where we're all working on a theme, and it'd be like, oh yes, you draw a Halloween related thing, I make a Halloween character, whoever else does whatever. And Base's Discord gives us the opportunity to sort of coordinate that sort of thing. Which would definitely be fun to set up with people who have just different enough crafts, where it's like, you have somebody who does traditional art, someone who does digital art, somebody who makes music, somebody who, just pick a bunch of different things, everybody doing something slightly different, and then have it be like a competition or just some sort of collaboration. Maybe the next holiday that rolls around, people have time. We'll see what I can come up with to coordinate something like that, if Base lets me. I think so. I think something like that would be fun. So, this wall panel is now done. Kind of looks like a chocolate bar a little bit. But I'm going to attach the next panel, which will go in this direction. And I'll start the paneling on the next wall. And we'll go from there. Trying not to tie knots yet. That'll be fine. Ugh. I'm so over these allergy things. Like too much sun yesterday, and spring is certainly here, and I hate it. Okay. So that is the second part of the bar attached. So now we can open that up. Ham and cheese croissants. Interesting. Ah. I'll whack myself in the face. I think ham is what's for dinner tonight. Being Easter and all. I want to finish up this one. Get closer to finishing up this current thread that I have attached. And then I have to get ready to go for family obligations. Yay. Again, I gotta remember how long my horns are, and maybe I'll stop running into things. This is definitely going to be a massive feature in the... Or am I doing this the right way? No. This needs to go in this direction. I didn't think so. I was like, something seems off here. This was not the direction that I thought things were supposed to be seated in. because in my head, this is the side that will face the door. You'll have this whole little corner where you'll have maybe some kegs stacked up or something. You'll have a massive L shape. This will be where the bulk of the seating is. There may or may not actually be seating over on that side. And then this side will come over here, and that'll be, the gate will be over on this side. And then the kitchen, entrance to the kitchen will be right here. But this will be like the outer wall. At least that's how it's working in my head. Who knows if that's what it'll end up being as I continue to make the little furniture for it. Okay, so that is the first panel on that side. Come over, no, I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna try and do this without piercing the thread. I am definitely going to swing by the craft store tomorrow to hopefully acquire more of these colors that I am using for this gigantic bar, so that hopefully on Tuesday I can get it at least started to be like assembled and at least more together, so you get the idea that it is a bar and not just fancy fencing. right now it kind of looks like one of those privacy gates. But I have all the parts cut out, so it's just a matter of stitching and assembling. So I'm getting close to having to finish that off. And I'm gonna call that significant progress for today, considering I started a little later than I wanted to, but that's what happens when I'm super tired and had to go grocery shopping this morning and also incredibly sunburned. It hurts. So I am going to call it there for today. I've been going for 2.5 hours at this point. And yeah, so let's see who all is still in chat. So MV3 and base. I was probably just gonna raid over to MP3's stream because I think I saw that he was live now. So either I can attempt to figure out how raiding works, or we can all just go pop over there. Let's see if I can figure out this raid thing. Let's search for if I can type. Yeah. I'm using the stream manager. I think, but no, let's do it via chat commands. So I believe that is fantastic. Okay. Cool, that was a lot easier than attempting to use the stream manager. So we are gonna go raid now. I'll see you next time.